thrown off. I know. I'm like, okay, we are live, folks. Let me press that other button so I make sure I'm recording. That's right, bitch. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Andor Aftershow here on JLJ Media, your source for all Andor goodness, I guess, or badness, whatever. I'm James Jr., one of your hosts. We're going to talk about Andor season one it is, but reaction episode 5. The Axe Forgets. Oh, yeah. That's right. I can read my own handwriting. I'm flabbergasted at the moment for some reasons, but my co-hosts are here. John Dunphy and Mr. Bass himself tonight, Frank Moran.
Hello. Hello.
I purposely didn't want to say anything just so that you could take it away.
Oh my God. I'm like, Frank, that is so crazy. I don't even know what to say. Yes, and we're talking about Andor. And
I mean, now that James Earl Jones is retired, I figured there's a void to fill, so I'm practicing, everybody.
Oh, wow.
I don't even want to talk. I was going to ask questions. I just talk. John, we should be silent all night. Just let him answer this. All I'm just like,
out of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
Yeah, just do like a dramatic reading of this last episode of Andor or something. that'll be the podcast.
That'll be it. I'd listen. Shit, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. But okay, let me do the announcement. I'm just going crazy. Okay, so we are the Andor After Show. Thank you for making it one of our top after shows of the season. It is out there on every streaming platform service from iHeartRadio to Spotify and Google. We are so excited you like our after show. We're seeing the increasing numbers, gentlemen. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. Please continue to watch us and share us with people you know. There's a lot of podcasts out there. I know I'm sure doing Andor, but we should be your favorites. Also, we're on video. Hi. Here on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media. Hit the subscribe button if you're a newbie. Thank you. And hit that notification bell. It may or may not work. I don't know anymore. YouTube is doing whatever it wants. But hit it anyway. And tell a friend. We're here on oh my God, what's today? Wednesdays doing Andor. Of course, you got our other after shows for we have The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mandalorian. I said Mandalorian. And I also set up one for Ahsoka. So you can go ahead and like it and follow it wherever you do it. So when it comes out, you'll be ready. And then, of course, Darth Vader is your father. That's out also. And I have a new episode out about the new book called Path of Deceit. It is in the new High Republic series. I'm reading the other books. It takes place 150 years before Phase 1. That just came out. So you get it anywhere. You get it on Disney, you get it on Amazon. I'm going to get it because I'm reading the whole book series. I love it. So check that out. Also, Darth Vader is your father. Actually, I want you to say it, Frank. Darth Vader is your father.
Darth Vader is your father.
I'm done. Good night, everybody. That's it. Good night.
Great show.
James is
like, I am. Yeah. Okay. So that's my podcast. You can also listen to shit. Why not? But yeah, we're going to talk about Andor episode 5 of the season called The Axe Forgets. We are still building towards. I see why it's probably going to be 12 episodes. They're building towards the big. Oh, and Frank's gone. That's it. He's done.
Oh no, it's when you have a runny nose, it's like who wants to watch me wipe my nose? Nobody wants that.
I want you to dig in there, Frank.
The way that you talk about wiping your nose in that voice, even that sounds good somehow.
I'm like, I know. I want to wipe my nose now. I want to wipe my fucking nose. Oh my God, Frank.
So just know, everybody, when the screen disappears, I'm just really wiping that nose.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. Hello, folks watching. My voice went high. Hello, folks. Hello, folks watching live right now. Hello, GH fan. I'm glad you're watching. There's 4 people watching. Thanks for hitting the like buttons. I love that. Super chats are enabled. Throw some money at Frank because of his voice. Let's do it that way. Okay.
A lozenge, perhaps.
I have some right here in my candy jar.
Hello. I'll be coming over to make a house call later, James.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Frank, you have to play this back for yourself later. It is crazy. It's crazy. It's gonna make me John. Just that's it for us evening. Puddle.
Thank you. But as you were saying, James, I know that you're like, you can see why this season's 12 episodes, because it is slow. We're slowly making our way through the story.
Yeah.
But I will say that I still don't mind it, because the storytelling, the dialogue, all of that makes these smaller sections really interesting to me. So I don't mind that the story is being protracted if you're giving me the kind of stuff that we're seeing in this episode.
I agree. I agree. But I was just saying, I was looking at going, I see what they're doing. I thought we would pick up and we'd be there, but no, we had more to talk about. Kind of, we're finding out about various members. There was some lesbianism or something going on, implied. We learned about all of that. We're kind of getting this. I love that we're getting like bits of this person, bits of that person. We're like, something's coming. Like so they know something's about to happen. And I was like, where's our man? Very end, he shows up, of course, and he's nervous. I mean, they all keep saying tomorrow. I kind of like that. I'm saying it wasn't like we're gonna be right there today. So I was like, oh, okay, we have another episode before we get there. Overall thoughts for you, John Dunphy?
I continue to really enjoy this series. And I just have to say, because I completely agree with everything Frank said, with everything you've said, James. And my feeling right now is that people annoy me. People annoy me a lot, okay? Because I've been talking to people about this show. And so many people have the reaction of, oh, it's so boring. Oh, it's so slow. And I'm just like, I feel like we've been conditioned to just, oh, it's not good if it doesn't have action. And it's like, we're getting a really good story here. We're getting a really good buildup. We're learning about some new characters, seeing a side of Star Wars that we haven't seen before. And not everything has to be so over the top and dramatic to be a good story. And I feel like that's what we're getting here, is a really good story with a lot of substance, meeting a lot of new faces. And I think you just have to, I feel like especially, maybe with the latest sequel trilogy, right? People want to see a lot of the fighting and the, flying through the air and lasers getting shot off and this and that. But we're seeing also like a really, I know this is Star Wars, so there's a lot of aliens, but we're seeing a really human side of Star Wars too, in a way, if you want to put it that way. And I like that. I like the story that we're getting. And I can tell that it is building towards something. I feel like there's too many people that are watching this thinking that it's too slow or too boring. And it's because there's not a ton of lasers everywhere and lightsabers. And it's just like, this is a great Star Wars story that we're seeing, like the roots of the rebellion that lead to, the original trilogy and beyond and all that. And I feel like I've really been enjoying this. And this episode was a little bit slower than like the last two, I think, episodes like 3 and 4, but I thought this was a great episode still.
I would compare this to as close to any of the films as Phantom Menace, in the sense where that has a really slow buildup at first. Difference being is that you've got Jedis in there up top. Yeah. So you're able to have some Jedi action to kind of, be the sugar coating around the medicine, I suppose, as we're setting up the world that Lucas is trying to establish in the prequel universe. Yeah. But for this, like you were saying, John, it's like we're seeing the initial signs of a rebellion where people are scared. This is the first time they're doing it. It's not like in A New Hope where the rebellion was already kind of actualized and we're kind of just jumping right into it in media res. This is the first time. So it makes sense for people to want to, vigorously practice the way they're going to walk up to a garrison gate. All these little touches. And so I like that. It makes sense to me that there's not all that action that you would expect at the moment, because people are scared to actually start something against the Imperial system.
Right.
I agree. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. No, just, the story that we get in the original series of the rebellion, fighting back against the Empire and overcoming them is great. And it's exciting and it's legendary. I love those movies, but part of me feels like, where did these people come from? How did this all start? How did we get here? Like, what drove these people to want to fight back against this seemingly, unbeatable force, this empire? We're getting to see that. And it starts with people and stories and, even getting to see some of that, the story from the guy Skeen, I think his name is, or something like that. We touched on a little bit about why he's doing this mission that they're getting ready for in Andor. Just hearing stories like that, that's interesting to me. And it goes to the root of this huge rebellion that we then now get to watch, as Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan take that on in the original trilogy, you know, and I feel like it's cool to see the roots of all that in this series.
Leopardess, wait till you hear Frank's voice tonight. She's all kisses my boo Frank. He's a little sick this evening, so I'm feeling energy, but we're enjoying his voice tonight. It's Darth. Yes, it's Darth Frank. Someone said in the chat room. Yes. One of the things I'm like, everything you both said, I completely disagree. Just kidding. But I agree with everything you both said. And more. I was like, you both are wrong. What's wrong with you people? No. I literally feel like we're getting backstory and side story on every character as we're building this. You know, from this Uncle Harlow, we're seeing this mother she's a peach. How she treats her son. I see why her son's a sniveling idiot. Cyril Karn, how that's like a typical kind of relationship there. We're also seeing how everyone at camp has their own story. And quote unquote, she's already sharing a blanket, wink, wink. I was like, two chicks are sharing a blanket. Are we talking about some lesbian action?
Yeah, you can trust yourself.
I was like, wow. I was like, all righty. And we're learning about, you know, Nemec, how he has a manifesto and he's a real activist and everything. And Ski's the one they both were in youth centers. They both were in prison. He knows when he saw the tattoo, getting his story. We're also seeing Mon Mothma and her husband parent, how horrible their relationship was, just totally dysfunctional. We meet this daughter Lydia, and she's totally she's a peach too. She's another one, just smart mouth. And you see how we're seeing that kind of story. You're right, and then also how that lieutenant in the rebellion, he lost a wife, he lost a woman, he lost a lot. It went during the and how Skeet's about his brother. It's like, you know, we're learning about these characters, and it's so I love it. I feel like it's a better version of Boba Fett, kind of like we're getting lots of real good backstory, but they're taking their time with these people. Not super slow. Trust me, we watched General Hospital. It's super slow. This was a little faster than that, but we're getting stuff. But it's still leading towards. You still feel the tension, like it's leading towards something. That's kind of how I feel like these characters. Like I know how Frank felt last time. I was thinking I need to know more about Cassian. We still don't. We're getting bits and pieces, but the other characters are really getting a lot of story on them. Actually, I'm like, okay, I really see what's. We're getting a lot of emotion. Sometimes this is nighttime, folks, so I can say this. Sometimes you want foreplay, you want somebody to play some soft music, some candlelight, you know, and then they just start slowly. Sometimes you want bam, bam, bam. You want both. But sometimes, sometimes slow and easy is good, folks.
Making that sweet love to you, James.
Exactly. That's what they're doing. Ooh. Give me some Andor. I don't have voice. Give me some Andor sweet love. What they're doing to me. They're saying, James, we're going to shower you with story and drama and like real acting. It feels like real acting. I mean, I don't want to be shady. Like, I mean, there's acting with others, but like this feels like almost like a drama.
Yeah.
I will say, I still have my feelings about Andor, but I saw a little spark in the scene where he explains, where he finally confesses to the rest of the team why he's there. And you know, telling them don't use me as a scapegoat. If you if you want to bail, that's you. It's not me. That little spark in that scene, I was like, all right, I'm digging this aspect. Let's see some more of this character.
I love it. He goes, okay, I'm getting paid. Yeah. Okay, bitches, I'm getting paid. That's why I'm here for the money. And I was like, you know, I'm glad he kind of said that. They all kind of looked, and even Homegirl was like, yeah, I didn't tell you guys. Okay. Yeah. It's like, you need to get over it. We have a bigger picture going on here. I was here earlier. She said, you guys can kill each other later. That's kind of funny. But it's like, I can see why Skeen is also untrustworthy, because you don't know who you can trust. I told you, I'm sure during that time period, folks, I don't know if I trust you people. I don't know what's going on.
Heck yeah. Well, especially there was that one scene where for a moment I was like, why are we focusing on this kyber crystal that he's got? He keeps pulling it out, looking at it. Yes. But then realizing that Skeen's behind him, and we need to see him putting it over his head, so that Skeen knows to go grab it later. So it made sense. Like, all right, I can see why we're pulling out. It made story sense, but in the moment I was like, why are we still seeing this?
Yeah, I know. I was the same thing, but I love that he finally came out and was like, yeah, I'm being paid. I'm here for the money.
Right.
He had a line he said earlier too. Is like, I just want to get out. I want to win and get out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a very actually powerful statement. That's kind of what the hope is, right? You'll come in, you'll win everything, and that may or may not happen, right? That's well, we know he'll survive clearly because obviously he has to. And does that affect you guys watching the show, knowing that obviously he's going to survive whatever happens, or does it not?
Well, not for me, but in a sense, like I appreciate us spending time with the other characters because it's, those are all people that could, any or some or all could die during this mission. And so at least you feel like these characters a little bit better.
Right. It doesn't really ruin it for me knowing that Cassian obviously has to live through the series, because even now, right, he's gotten thrown into this team of other people, and I feel like this is just the first of many missions that he's going to go on. And while we know that he makes it through, at least to the events of Rogue One, we don't know if anyone on these teams that he works with makes it. So we know that he's probably going to be losing people. And we've been talking already tonight about how, some of the people that he's working on this team with now for this mission, we've learned more about their stories, and we've learned more about why they're fighting for the rebellion, and they're doing all these things. And we know that none of them are guaranteed to make it. So while Andor is sort of like the through line to Rogue One, and we know he makes it there, there's going to be all sorts of characters that he meets along the way, that he works with, that he might form very, deep connections with, that end up, dying off along the way.
Especially to that point too. It's, we see right now he's just a money for, a gun for hire, so to speak. But it's those relationships that he's going to start forming with all these other people that I feel can transform him from the guy that's doing this for the money into the guy that's doing it because of a bigger cause, when he sees people around him dying.
Yeah.
And then you also have, I used to love White Snake, you guys. I did. Somebody mentioned White Snake. Here I go again on my underwear. I like them. Diane Cap says anticipation. We're getting anticipation. I like that. Anticipation. Come on,
Great,
John.
957.
And another commercial that ruins everything, right? He's wiping his nose, you guys. He's wiping his nose. Everybody take a drink. Take a drink.
The wipe is done, everyone.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Dang it. Also, we still get even more stuff and emotions from the Imperial side. So we have Homeboy who's working with them, of course, who's there, and that corporal is a little dick. And just like yeah. I'm like, just whatever. We get to see him kind of like he's looking over the land, which is all beautiful. I love the cinematography of the series. I just love the way it looks. It looks just very Star Wars to me, I guess, or whatever. On this island, planet we've never really been on. And so he's working with them. He's kind of like on the inside doing that. Then we have Blonde Chick popping pills. I was like, oh, they still do that in whatever time that is. Oh, okay. She pops some pills. I was like, oh, that still happens, I guess. She's on a hard day. Trying to dig in and trying to get in. She knows something's up. And she's trying to figure it out. So we're getting more of her kind of thing. And light-skinned black guy he's just like, he was kind of funny. He was kind of a dick too. They hired some new guy to run things, and you want to have this as your. So we're getting like stuff from their side too. We're getting a little bit of everything. This is so interesting. It's like they're really going around and not spending a lot of time either. It's just like, here we go, and then here we go, and then here we go. It still moves around, which I'm like, it may seem slow to some folks, but I think it's moving fine to me.
Yeah. I feel like the pacing, it always feels just long enough to me. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels too long. It feels like we jump from I'm blanking on his name again, but Captain Stiff and his mom, to Andor and the team, to the Imperials, back to Andor and his team, then to Mon Mothma, then back to Andor. Like, we're jumping all over the place to different people. There's things happening. The story is progressing, but it doesn't feel like too rushed or too slow or anything like that to me.
I agree. Frank and you guys. It's Frank and John. I don't know why I'm saying. I'm looking at myself and Frank and you guys. I have a question. So with Cyril Karn, which is the sniveling stiff guy, at home with mommy. So here's the deal. He looks like Cassian, like a hologram Cassian at the end. So what? I'm surprised the story's still going with him. What do we think his story is?
I'm not sure, but to pause on that for 1 second, with him, what I love in Star Wars is when we just get to see like just a slice of life home scene. Like in this episode where he's having breakfast, the blue milk in the kitchen with his mom, whether it's in A New Hope with Luke and Owen and Beru, or Force Awakens, where she's hopping into her little wreckage and making herself a self-rising loaf of bread to eat, all that stuff. So this scene I just love, just the aesthetic of it, the great cereal with the blue milk that he only seems to be eating that all the time.
It looks like it could have been like from a box of Cocoa Puffs or something with some blue milk, like that's the cereal. But it's so true. Them sitting there at the kitchen table together, just talking. And his mom had one of my favorite lines in the whole episode. There were a bunch of good lines in this episode, but his mom had one of my favorites when they're sitting there at the table having the cereal. And he was like, "You could have come and visited whenever you wanted." And she was like, "Every civilized person knows that an open invitation is no invitation at all."
It's like certain things that we have today never go away, apparently. That kind of mother never goes away. I mean, like,
right.
It's like that makes sense. It explains exactly why he is who he is. That actually, she's wonderful. I love whoever she is. I love her. But she just, because she's so wonderfully just like, you just want to slap her. Like, come on, girl. Stop. That's why you're sensitive to Uncle Harlow's this and blah, blah. Just like, it just talks down to him. And it's like, it's such, we've seen that happen before. So it's like, that didn't change. Like human behavior, I guess, what I'm learning from this series doesn't change.
True. And what she tells him at the end, like that she told Harlow that that his failure was educational. As a way to butter up Harlow. Like, he's learned his lesson. But to what you were saying, James, I mean, clearly he's going to be a bigger part of this than I realized. I mean, but it's also weird too, because I don't know how fast we're moving through the season. I mean, if it's 12 episodes and we're getting into, episode 6 next week, and we're just getting to the beginning of the mission, which I imagine would probably be 2 parts, this whole mission to probably take place. So I don't know. I don't think a lot of time will pass. So I mean, I think in one sense, we could be building up to him kind of incrementally working his way into something that will give him access to pursue Cassian, and they will meet up at a very inopportune moment for Andor.
What do you John?
Do you think, is he going to end up as like an Imperial? You think this? They
have him down and out so far. So I'm like, how does he get back up?
Right. And like, I feel like his story can't be like, oh, I still have this hologram of Cassian Andor. I'm going to go back to the corporate, the corporate security force, and we're going to take him down. I feel like he's looking higher now. Like, I feel like he wants to become part of the Empire. That I almost think that Captain Stiff over here and the blonde Imperial chick seem like they would be a good match.
Ooh,
yeah,
like they would link up.
Yeah, and I could see them crossing paths because she's like hell-bent on finding the star path, or what thing or whatever, the box that he had. That was the box that Andor had, and Captain Stiff is hell-bent on finding Andor. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up teaming up at some point, the two of them.
It makes sense. I mean, and I will have to retract my thought that she could be on the inside, because her actions this episode didn't give any indication that she seems really, wanting to prove that this rebellion is something that's indeed forming. So yeah, I mean, but also I'm trying to figure out with the Empire, like, now that we don't have all clone-based stormtroopers, what is your, like, how do you rise up the ranks in the Empire? I mean, do you start off as a stormtrooper and then get yourself into another line in the military, another branch, or do you? I'm just curious. Now I'm all like,
I think all stormtroopers are such bad shots that I think if you just hit one target, you're immediately promoted.
Hit one
That's how it is. Yeah, and then each target you hit after that, you move up a rank.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what said. He's still in the show, so like he's still there. So something. I don't know what. But again, we have enough episodes to cover it. So I mean, I don't. If this was like if it was only 6 episodes or 9, I'd be like, okay, what's his deal? But since it's 12, we got another 7 episodes to go. I mean, who knows what could happen in 7 episodes? I mean, especially with him.
I mean, I guess we find out how much juice Uncle Harlow has. Clearly, Mom thinks he's got some.
Yeah, so. She's all singing his praises. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I agree. I don't know.
But it's like, it's like your mom thinking that your uncle who owns a mechanic shop has a lot of juice, as opposed to like your uncle who is, the CEO of a company has a lot of juice. So it's I don't know what level Uncle Harlow's operating at.
Do we know what like Tarkin's first name is? What if it's Uncle Harlow Tarkin?
That'd be great. Oh, what a phenomenal reveal that would be. Tarkin, Harlow Tarkin.
So I mean, they have this plan that we see part of the in one of the scenes. They need his help. Clearly, they were a little stuck. I love that scene. It's just like they're trying to act like they're strong and tough, which they would, right? I'm just like but they literally were like, they need his help, and he was like, "You need my help." And I was trying chuckling at that scene, like, answer the weight, like they're trying to hold on to their thing. It's like, you know what you guys are doing, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all this going, I mean, will it go well? I was like, I'm actually really nervous. I'm like, I feel like homeboy. I'm nervous. Like, will this go well? Because they actually had their whole model and everything was right there, and it looks like what we saw in the person. And I mean, do they really have? I mean, it's just there's 6 of them plus the guy.
They're trying to kickstart a rebellion. So,
yeah.
I mean, I would think that it is going to be successful. Not that necessarily everybody's going to make it out alive, but the overall mission would be successful so that they can actually, it lights the fuse that becomes a rebellion. It would seem weird if this failed. How's everybody going to be able to kind of marshal up the morale and the resources to try something else now that everybody's aware that something indeed is happening?
Okay, I can see that. What's interesting is the ladies aren't going.
Yeah.
They walked over and they're like, okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'm like, I know they say it like that. But it seemed like, it was like, hey, bye fellas, whatever. So what's that about?
Yeah, because Andor asked about that too, right? He was like, what are you guys going to be doing? And he was basically told like, oh, don't worry about what they're doing or something.
I know. I was like,
yeah.
They're going to do women things, I guess. I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I was like, they were just kind of, I thought they were going to be part of the whole shebang. But hopefully see you tomorrow night.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe they're part of the whole, maybe they're part of like the getaway or something. Who knows?
Right. I'm like, I was just very surprised that's what happened. I didn't, I was like that. I was like, oh, they're not going to be part of the whole thing. Like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, they're certainly putting us in Cassian shoes in there because, we only know as much as he knows really in terms of what the plan is. And they still don't trust him entirely, even though he's said that he's getting paid. There's still that lack of trust. I can see that changing once if this mission comes off as successful. But until then, everybody's still leery.
I have a feeling it's going to only be a success because of Cassian. So in some way, that's how they'll make it. The whole mission will fail except for something that he does. I do wonder though too, because just based on what we were saying, if the women are not involved in this, right? If it's just the 4 guys that are going to be marching, they were practicing, doing the Imperial March or whatever.
Yes.
What were they going to do if Andor wasn't there?
Right.
Because then it would only be 3, right?
Right.
Wouldn't they need a 4th person to be? Was one of the either Cinta or what's the other Val or whatever? Were one of them going to be in that group of 4? Like what was the plan there if you didn't have like Cassian there? I am curious about that.
yeah, I mean, I guess you'd should be doing that 80s movie, whatever it is. She's all that. So
oh my god, it's so funny. Yeah, so I would
James, no. Don't you die, James.
I need some blue
Don't
milk.
do it.
Okay. Not that tray milk when he was like next. It all looked nasty. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, it all look nasty. The blue milk is kind of, we see that other thing. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if I could actually drink it. It's blue.
Are we surprised that no one has made like a Star Wars branded blue milk yet? Like,
right.
Why can't I get a gallon of blue milk at the store right now?
People would go crazy for that.
Right?
Absolutely.
They can make it what, blueberry flavor?
Blueberry milk. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess like blueberry cereal makes it
What if it tastes like blue raspberry?
It sounds disgusting either way, but I'm just wondering. I don't know if I could do blue milk. I don't know if I could do that. But the other milk was even worse apparently. And I'm like, it looked close to the color. And they said it was even worse. I was like, ooh. I was like, that's kind of gross and grody. That's interesting. There are two lines I liked. I just want to make sure 2 lines I liked. I'm liking the dialogue. One was the blonde chick and the guy. Never climb the same fence twice. And also, it's too random to be random. I like that. Those are my quotes. Then she popped some pills. I was like, popping pills, girl, to calm down. Okay. I was like, I didn't expect that in 24 or 55 BC or whatever they are. I almost said BC. Whatever they are. I don't know what year they're at. I don't know exactly what exact year we're at.
Well, how
is it? Are we 10 years before? Or?
From the Battle of Yavin?
5 years. Or 5 years before.
From 5 years from Rogue One.
Yes, 5 years from Rogue One.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Speaking of the dialogue, I just have to say, because you mentioned a couple of lines. Obviously, the episode was called "The Axe Forgets," right?
Yes.
So that was a line I really enjoyed. The axe forgets, but the tree does not.
Yeah.
Right. That was a good line. There was another line, the whole part when Cassian was kind of telling them, "I'm here because I'm getting paid," and because obviously he didn't really have a choice, right? He got picked up and kind of just dropped off. But but he told them he was there because he's getting paid. And so one of them actually said, "Are you afraid?" And he was like, "Of course I'm afraid, but there's a difference between fear and losing your nerve." That line I really liked also.
Exactly. I thought that was great.
And that's what led into what you were talking about before, Frank, when Cassian was telling them, he was like, "Listen, I'm afraid. I know you guys are afraid. So if you want to back out of this thing, don't use me as an excuse. Just own up to it. You're afraid. You don't have the nerve for it. So get out of here. I am afraid, but I'm ready to go through with this. So don't use me as your crutch, your excuse to get out of it." But there was a lot of good lines in this episode. I thought a lot of really good dialogue.
Yes, like last one. I was a big fan. I mean, I always mention that dialogue. I just love that. It's really. Oh my God! Take a drink. He's wiping his nose.
We're wiping. Yep, wiping.
We're wiping, and we're wiping.
It's so funny. He's like, we're wiping. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I did not expect that. I almost choked my drink. I did not expect that.
I do find it's been interesting with Mon Mothma that the scenes they're choosing to show us so far in the series are just more domestic. I mean, other than the than the brief interlude at Stellan's place, but and just how dysfunctional her family life is. We don't really see her kind of moving about on Coruscant through any of the other, high society kind of things that she's doing yet.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Why is Mon Mothma married to this guy? Is this like a cover up? Do you think that she was like, I'm gonna marry the shittiest guy I can find?
Oh, he is.
Because then no one will believe that I'm behind the rebellion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna marry this guy who's such a dickhead.
He is.
That no one would believe that I'm a traitor. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that's what her thinking is? How does she end up with him?
Because I mean, when the daughter's just going off, he's just sitting there. He's literally sitting back in a chair, just like, "Go, bitch, go ahead, just go ahead. Keep talking to your mother that way." Like he didn't care.
Yeah, and the fact that he was like, "Oh, the driver's outside," and she was like, "You know his name."
His name was Crisco or something. What was his
Yeah,
name? What was his
but
name?
I like that he
It was
didn't later.
Cloris?
He's like, what's her name?
Clovis. Oh no,
What's his name?
I think
Yeah, what's his name?
Cloris. Sorry, Cloris. Crisco, whatever his name is. But yeah, that he's so shitty. It's like I just want to slap across the face. Even that the ponytail and everything was like, ooh. I was just like, you're just so gross. But again, I love that dining room area. I love the car.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I again the cinematography. Whoever you are, I just next time look at the credits. I love it.
Yeah,
Coruscant looks amazing. Coruscant looks unbelievable.
That when they're in the car and he can, she says that, oh, you wouldn't care about this because it's charitable, and his response is just to like, get us on the expressway. Like he just wants to get where he needs to get. I'm done with this. Let's just go.
I just love that car. There's one time where she's just sitting there looking out the window or whatever. It's just so nice. I'm like, I want one of those flying across the galaxy or whatever. I want one of those.
Yeah.
So nice. Mm-hmm. Like that. But yeah, that actor's did a good job because I literally hate him. I'm just like, oh.
And he hasn't said much.
He doesn't. He says a lot with his face. There's a facial expression.
Right.
That's what he said.
That's how he is, like, expressing what, because he was completely silent through that whole weird argument that Mon Mothma's daughter, was having with her. And then, like, he just sat there in silence. And then, like, even in the prior episode, when he was telling Mon Mothma about this dinner party with all these, like, awful people that hate her, like, oh, yeah, they're all coming over, like, he didn't really say much in that episode either. Like, he's been very quiet, but very shitty.
Yeah, yes. And with the daughter, it's like the daughter, I just want to check her. Like, don't you realize who your mom's going to be?
Like,
why are you being like this?
Yeah. If my mom was Mon Mothma,
yeah.
God, I would never speak to her that way.
Exactly. Hello. That's so funny. Is there anything else? I mean, I feel like we covered. I mean, it was a very straightforward episode.
But James, just to reiterate, Lisa, there is the look of the show is, man, this is by far my favorite Star Wars TV show yet. It's just everything about it.
I agree.
Oh.
So, Frank, you don't understand, you two. I was ready to hate this series. I was ready to say, you guys suck it. I was ready to say, see, I told you it's not as good as I mean, I was so ready to tell you guys I told you so. I had clothes, I had an outfit to wear. I was doing my hair differently. I had a whole thing. I love it.
It really is.
Literally, I can't believe I love it.
Let me tell you something. Right now, we got Rings of Power out. We got House of the Dragon out. We got She-Hulk. We got so many different shows that are out. Andor is the one thing that's on my mind all week that I cannot wait for.
Yeah. I mean, and there's something, I mean, I certainly enjoy Dave Filoni for sure. Absolutely. He's phenomenal. And Jon Favreau has been great with these Star Wars series. But so admittedly, with, when you read about all the production history of Rogue One and, Tony Gilroy coming in at the last second to kind of, reconfigure some stuff about stuff, admittedly, this series, I was like, I don't know. But holy cow, it has just been a reaffirmation that, yes, there are other people that are just as passionate about Star Wars that aren't Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and that's totally cool.
Yeah. And, I got to tell you, as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure that everything that we saw in the trailers and all that, we have now seen in the show.
That's true.
Which makes me feel like everything we're going to see from here on out we have not seen, because even like some of the lines that we didn't see, we just heard like the voice maybe speaking the line. I feel like all those lines have come up now, like the pockets of fermenting, all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, they're so fat and satisfied. Like those were the big lines that we heard throughout the trailers, right? And I feel like we've heard those spoken now in the series, which makes me feel like everything that we're going to get now moving forward, we have not seen or heard before. And the fact that we still have like more than half of this series to go, it makes me super excited. Like, this is all going to be brand new stuff. Brand new. Yeah.
Oh, and shout out to the TIE Fi driver. or pilot for doing that really low buzz. Like what
a dick.
I know. It's like,
that was like the equivalent of like a taxi cab driving through a puddle on the street and splashing everyone. He just is like, I'm going to get really low and fast next to this river. Just shoot all this water up. Oh, what a dick.
And even when he gets to the dam, he is still riding low when he's crossing that dam. Yeah. It's like, yeah. All right, what a douche this guy is.
Yes, I love it.
But I think for the pandemic, it worked well to shoot the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, how it was shot there in the volume. But I think this series has really showed that shooting practical locations, boy, it just gives it just a different flavor and texture that you don't quite get in the volume at this point.
Yeah.
No, I love the way it looks. I love the opening theme. I love the opening sequence. I like the music. The music's at a minimal. It's not like heavily music-fied in there. The sets look great. I mean, they almost remind me of Mandalorian sets. I like the sets of the Mandalorian. Me and Ryan talked them all the time. We loved how the terrain looked like the terrain. Each planet looked like each planet. Like it was something different. This one, I feel like every scene, it looks really good. Like they put attention to detail. I actually like where Stiff Guy lives with his mom. I love the way it's like, it's up and down, and they're like a little pod part of the house, and it's all very. I love the way it looks.
Yeah, you know what I'm looking forward to also. There was a scene in this. I forget what the Imperial's name is, but it's the one who's at odds with the blonde Imperial officer. He was like in the street at one point, and he was talking about how some hotel is going to be the base of operations, the headquarters for somebody. And there was a bunch of construction, workers out in the street. And he was like, oh, I want this to be ready by the time my next staff meeting comes or whatever. And I'm like curious to even see like, how are they going to make this planet, this area look imperial or whatever, like how are they going to dress this up and all that. And I feel like we're going to see this area probably a whole bunch more, probably next episode during this whole mission. So,
which is interesting because I thought we were going to be done with that planet, but clearly not, which is interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of things. But again, knowing that it's 12 episodes instead of, I think every series we watch, it's always like 10 episodes, 9 episodes, 6. Like I always kind of keep an eye out every episode where we're at, where we at in the story. Knowing that there's 12, we have like 7 more to go. I'm like, okay, this either can be really good or it could be drawn out. Maybe we hopefully we won't have any bad episodes. That happens sometimes. You get an episode like, but so far I've enjoyed the first 5 so much. Now I got high expectations that each one.
And also 5 episodes in, we're still at that 40-minute or so mark. We still haven't had that one, random 30-minute episode. That feels way too short. All these episodes seem to be around 40 minutes or so, which I also again love. Like. It just seems perfect. Everything has felt perfect. The timing and all that, the whole show as a whole was not completely perfect. There's things that we've nitpicked here and there, but as far as Star Wars shows go, it's to me, it's The Mandalorian and Andor right now. We're not even all the way through the season, but so my opinion could change. But I feel like Mandalorian and Andor are like the gold standards at this point.
I agree.
And with Stellan Skarsgård at the end, Luthen Rial.
Talking to his we haven't talked about that enough.
Talking to his assistant about having their time to bail bag. As they say. So I'm excited to see when things start going. And they've got to, their cover's blown and they've got to get out of Coruscant without getting caught. I'm excited to see when that moment comes.
Yeah, because it's coming. The fact that he even said the line, the thief, Andor, I wasn't careful. All right. Well, okay. All right. Well, you pack your bags. Something's happening real soon.
I guess it's one thing to show Mon Mothma's terrible domestic life. Because I assume if all this goes down, she's going to have to bail too. Which, a husband, who cares? But she's also leaving a daughter that currently the relationship is pretty dysfunctional at best. But still hard to walk away from a child.
But that's gonna be interesting. When introducing the daughter, that's interesting too. He's wiping. He's wiping.
It's wipe watch. Wipe watch.
The wipe is complete. The wipe is complete.
Complete. I like the wipe watch. That is hilarious. Okay, I want to look at the chat room real quick. See what's going on in there. My sister's in there. Hello, everybody. Disney Hollywood Studios serves an alcoholic blue milk cooler.
Ooh.
Now I'll never go to Disneyland, so I won't be trying that. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't need the alcohol in it. Can I just get the blue milk?
I
don't need the cooler part of it.
I need the alcohol in it, so I don't know what's going on. No, I'm not going to. I'm like, you have to make me drink. Go to Disneyland first of all. So that's another story.
Can I get a virgin blue milk cooler, please?
Right. Either that or milk my own bantha. One of the two.
I'd pay to see that. I'd pay to see everybody was paying to see Frank milking. I can't even get it out. Milking a bantha.
That's right.
Let's watch Frank milk a bantha. I'd pay for it. Shit, I'd pay for it.
Milking a bantha with Frank Moran.
Frank Moran.
A bantha's got nipples, Frank. Can you milk that?
Well, as long as Danny Trejo's there. Okay. The writer's doing a phenomenal. So the writer's doing a phenomenal job. We agree. Oh yeah, the Mandalorian sets. Yeah, we agree with you. Yeah. So they say it's a blue milk. It's an alcoholic blue milk. My sister goes, yeah, you're right. That's so weird. Why would alcoholic milk is weird too? I'm like, I know that's a white Russian basically. I guess, but
the dude abides.
Ugh, like ugh. I don't want to go to Disneyland. Can I order it to go? Can I get it to go? Can I get Instacart? Or is it DoorDash? Can I get DoorDash or Grubhub? Hi, can you go to Disneyland and pick me up a blue milk, please? That's all I want. That's all I want. I want to go back to Frank milking a bantha. That's what I just want to go back to that.
Right.
I really want to see it. I just like I don't know what they look like underneath there. Like how you know what they have under there.
Oh, let's. I'm sure somebody's drawn.
They go look at a drawing, and
somebody's drawn bantha nipples.
Well, you know it's probably true.
Siri, Google bantha milking.
Oh my God, Darth Frank will have someone else milk the bantha. That's right. Darth Frank has somebody else do it.
Darth Frank will milk the bantha with the Force.
Oh my God. I've never laughed so hard about milking. I can't get it out. I can't even get it out. Milking a bantha. I mean, I want a shirt that says I'm milking banthas. So I love it.
Oh, you can also get it in bantha butter.
Bantha butter.
Yeah.
You get bantha cheese. You get bantha cheese.
Oh, it's produced by the female bantha's mammary glands.
Oh, thank God.
Hello.
That's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What a turn this episode has taken.
But
what's going on right now?
But is there a drawing? Did somebody draw it?
I have not seen that yet, but there was.
They're laughing at you.
Oh, well, there was a fan film entitled Blue Milk that won the best parody of the 2006 Star Wars fan films. The film was a parody of a Welch's grape juice commercial with young Leia advertising Bantha Blue Milk. That's
hilarious. I want to see that. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Somebody find it and send it to me.
But sadly, nobody's given us an artistic rendition of a Bantha being milked.
Well, I guess I know what I have to do after we get off.
And I'm like, get the drawing. Come on, get the drawing. I will. Maybe it's folks. I can't even get it out. Maybe it's folks. Maybe as folks watch this episode, if you know of any kind of drawings, they're laughing at chat, of course. Just let us know. Tag me and Frank, because we're on. All three of us are on Twitter. So tag us on Twitter if you find a drawing. I want to see a drawing of Bantha teats.
I mean, James, there's got to be something in the prize vault for somebody who gets the best.
Okay, seriously, I do. If I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff, if you find me some Bantha teats, I'll give a prize the next episode. I swear to God, I will. You find me a drawing. I want some kind of whatever. The undercarriage of a bantha. That's what I want.
All I can think of right now, what was that? It was in Book of Boba Fett, right? He was like, when he was teaching them to ride the speeders, he was like a bantha.
Bantha.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like a bantha.
Yes. I'm like, yes. That's what you're doing. So yes, that's what I want. And so I can find some blue milk that's not, it's just yes.
Yes.
Thank you. That just wore me out. Wait, is my sister sent me an image? Let's see something. Oh, the blue milk. Okay. It is blue. I wish I could show it to you guys, but it's not going to show on here. Can you see it? It's blue.
I see it. I see some blueness in the glass there.
What's in the green one?
I don't know.
Oh. But inside of this image, Star Wars movie book history. That's hilarious. But I'm going to pay $1,000 to go to Disneyland so I can have some blue milk. That'll cost like $20 also.
Well, James, you don't want to live.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You're right, Frank. I am a stick in the mud and a party pooper. I'm like, I am not, Yes, exactly. Oh, you guys.
We did see Luke milking that animal in what was that? The Last Jedi.
On the island where he was. Yes.
Yeah, what was he milking in that? We saw him milking, like drinking straight from the teat, too.
Ugh,
and delicious. Ray was like, ugh.
I don't remember what it was. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
So we have seen someone milk something in Star Wars. It was Luke.
That's true.
And that's all, kids. That's what we're waiting for. John found. We have milked. Somebody's been milked in Star Wars. That sounds so dirty. Thank God it's a nighttime show. So I'm like, I don't even know what else to say about that.
Andor, a Star Wars story. Milking.
It's produced by the female Thala Sirens. That's who he milked on the planet he was on.
Wait, can you say it one more time in that voice?
I know. I'm like, what?
Luke milked the Thala Sirens. They're
God.
Docile marine mammals that like to sun themselves on rocks.
Oh, jeez, and crack.
Sounds so dirty.
I know. I'm like, wow. They do all that? My goodness.
Just waiting to be milked.
Ooh, I am sweating. My hair for the fun. Ooh. Wait, what my sister sending me stuff? What are you sending me, girl? Oh, they showed me the scene of him milking. Yeah, we already know that part. We know it. They sent me a teat. I'm like, we want to see a bantha teat. I already know about that part.
This is not at all the episode I expected us to have.
No, I didn't either. I expect Frank to have that voice. I didn't expect the bantha milking. I don't know what's going on, folks. So we're going to end the show now. We've had a good laugh. Frank needs to go drink some tea or something and go to bed. Thanks for watching us, of course, as always. Follow them wherever they are. You know where they are. You know where I'm at. We'll be back next Wednesday, of course, for episode 6 of Andor, our favorite Star Wars series right now. So join us. And tomorrow night, John probably won't be there. Who knows what he's going to do? But we'll be back for She-Hulk episode, the penultimate episode of the season. Me, who's my co-host? Frank Moran, Anthony Chipazzi, and John is supposed to be our host, but we'll see if he can.
I really am planning to be there. I'm sorry.
Yay.
I hate that I haven't.
Who's there or not. But we will be here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be here, the second last episode. And did you guys see the trailer that came out, the little scene that came out today with Daredevil?
Oh,
There's a scene they put on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
nice.
Hulk and Daredevil fighting.
Excellent.
So I don't know what episode that is or whatever, but they put it out there. People were fighting over it or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But yes, everyone, please stay safe wherever you are, and we'll see you guys next